Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2017 horror film Trench 11, a film that is directed by Leo Sherman and it stars Rossif Sutherland, who is the son of Donald Sutherland. Surprising, I've never seen him really in movies before. And this is another of those World War One stroke World War Two zombie Nazi horror films, and even though they're not strictly zombies in this film, you know, there's a distinct similarity in their behaviours. And this film focuses on it's the end of World War One. It's getting very, very close, and the Allies find out about this underground base that has been built by the Germans, that they suspect may well hold some scientific goodies if they go out there and raid it, because the Germans have retreated now, and they believe that if they go out to this underground bunker they'll find all sorts of goodies that they'll be able to, you know, bring back to the Allies, German secrets and all that, you know. So they put together a small group of people, including Lieutenant Burton, played by Rossif Sutherland, who is an expert digger. So a couple of soldiers from the US Army and 2 British officers. So they set off to this bunker. They end up getting there, get down into this bunker, and as you could imagine, things don't necessarily go particularly well, because Germans and experiments and underground bunkers are not usually a good mix. Right, so what did I think of Trench 11? I thought, for the most part, this was a reasonably effective horror film. It was well made, well acted, looked great, it felt like it had really quite good production values, felt authentic in the uniforms and the locations, you know, that all worked really, really well. I quite like the soundtrack as well. So it was all pretty well made. The horror aspects of this film really worked for the most part. I was a little bit underwhelmed with what initially we found in this bunker. It just looked like crazed Nazis charging at them, really, you know. And as it turned out, they were the kind of infected with this worm, that there's a couple of really effective and pretty gross scenes where these worms that infest the body come creeping out of all the orifices and stuff, and it's pretty gross, and that's really, really effective. But essentially it's just manic blokes charging at them, you know, with, you know, almost like 28 Days Later, that kind of effect, you know, where it's not that they're infected with rage. Well, it's a bit like that in this underground bunker. These people that have been experimented on are infected with rage. These worms that are in them mess with the brain, and take away all their morality and right from wrong, so they're just enraged and want to kill. There's a couple of issues here, in a sense of the only way to get down in this bunker was on a rope to climb down, and it didn't look easy. And even though they had some equipment, i.e. some weapons and things like that, it didn't look, you know, particularly easy. However, there's a scene in the film where the Nazis also want to get in this bunker to finish the job that they started by, you know, hiding the evidence. And when they turn up, there's some of these Nazis wearing this huge body armour and carrying the biggest machine guns you've ever seen in your life. Now, I could have missed something. They could have found a secret entrance, but I don't think they did. So how the hell did they get down that rope is my question. And the bigger here is that all these characters are so cliched. Even the German officers are cliched. There's one German officer that's actually quite layered and complex and quite likeable, actually. And I don't want to spoil the film. But for the most part, all the Allied soldiers that go down in this bunker, they're all cliched. You get the 2 stuffy English officers, you get the usual grunts in regards to, you know, you get the big brute and the one that questions everything and is a bit jumpy, and unfortunately, Rossif Sutherland, who plays like Lieutenant Burton, who's essentially the main character here, is the most uncharismatic lead character I've seen for quite some time. Bizarre choice in regards to how that character was written, because there's nothing there for you to root for, really. To try and give him some kind of backstory with this French girl at the beginning, but it felt really tacked on, and you didn't care because you only had a short couple of minutes scene with them together. So yeah, the characters are very, very cliched, very, very poorly written. So therefore, when, as you can imagine, a film like this, you start losing characters, you don't give a monkeys, really. And that is the big failing of this film. However, it is at times a really, really effective horror film, World War I horror film, and for the most part they've done a decent job here. And like I say, it looks great, sounds great, it's well acted throughout. It's fairly poorly written, and the script isn't particularly good, but the idea is great. And if you like these sort of war horror films, I think you're going to enjoy this one. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Certainly worth checking out if you haven't seen it yet. So of course, thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time on Screen Stars.